should one pursue a career in traditional filmmaking? And those who are already in it, how does the social media landscape affect all of us? Hi, I'm Shrikant. I am an independent filmmaker. In this video, I am going to share some insights as well as raise some important questions because I want to engage with the fellow filmmakers and the aspiring filmmakers to deal with the problems that we all are facing. The big question is traditional filmmaking dead? Movies, once the king of entertainment, people would line up in front of theaters to watch a story unfold on a big screen. But today, the game has changed. Big screens are struggling to make profits. Even the streaming platforms are not as promising as we thought they were. First, think about the social media. Why people are not spending 2 to 3 hours in a movie theater when they can doom scroll on their screen, a tiny screen, and consume short videos that gives them instant dopamine hits? I think the answer is simple. It's because it is free and it is easily accessible. The numbers don't lie. It's a common knowledge now that an average person spends about 2 to 3 hours every day consuming this free social media content. Now compare this to an experience of watching a movie on a big screen. It is expensive, it forces you to leave early. Again, all these are now issues which once were not. But yeah, that's the world that we are living in right now. So you have to travel, you have to beat the traffic, you have to reach the location, you have to find your seat, you have to then watch the movie, you have to also buy food in the interval, and once all of that is done, again you have to head back home. Sometimes there is a traffic or whatever, but there is an effort. There is so much effort of time and energy and money to watch a movie on a big screen. That's the scenario when it comes to the big screens, and you may argue that Netflix or Prime Video are doing well, and those are the good options for filmmakers to distribute their films. I think the answer is somewhere between yes and no. It's true that these streaming platforms have made movies and TV shows accessible on your mobile phone and on your TV screens, right? It's true. So accessibility is the great point. The streaming platforms operate on subscription model and they make payments to the filmmakers or the production houses depending on the views that the movie or the TV show has garnered on the platform. Now the problem is not every TV show or movie is getting enough eyeballs to recover their investment. And that leads us to the problem of oversaturation. There are so many movies and TV shows that we are bombarded as we browse these streaming platforms. It creates a paradox of choice wherein now that you have so many options, you don't know what to choose, what to select. And this happens everywhere. This also happens in a restaurant where you see a menu that has 100 options, you don't know what to eat. And the same thing happens on the streaming platform where you have hundreds and thousands of movies and TV shows to choose from, and you end up choosing nothing. Or you choose something which is popular or which has received great ratings or a good mouth publicity. A lot of people don't go out of their way to watch a movie or TV show which nobody knows, nobody talks about. Then there is an argument that there are also movies like Avatar or Spider-Man which are making a lot of profits and people are going to theaters to watch these films, which is true, but we also need to understand that these are big budget movies. And how many filmmakers get this kind of budget to make these kind of films? And more importantly, how many filmmakers actually get to work on these films even as assistants? So now we are stuck in this catch-22 situation wherein you cannot get big budgets because it's very difficult if you're not a brand or a popular face or a popular name. But then if you make smaller films, you will even then struggle to make profits because nobody wants to watch a smaller film on the streaming platforms or in the theaters. And to add more pressure to it, filmmaking is almost a group activity. You need a team to execute it in most cases. It also needs some kind of capital. So again, you need investment, you need to deal with the financial risk of making a movie. Now I know that you must be thinking, okay, this guy is completely critical and is a pessimist. No, I'm not. I still think that there is a hope. I think that with the time we need to adapt, and as filmmakers, it's important that we also define the terminology of what it means to be a filmmaker, because there is a clear distinction right now. There are filmmakers and then there are content creators, and I think that it is important that we redefine ourselves as storytellers, and we need to be open to different mediums and formats. If you're someone who is a purist and thinks that you just want to make films, good for you. But I am someone who wants to adapt to the new ways of telling stories. I want to tell stories even using my iPhone, if that is what gives me joy. I want to tell stories even using a small mirrorless camera. That's how I think is the new way of building career in filmmaking. You need to see the tools that are around you. I think it is also freeing in so many ways that you can be in any part of world, and in most cases you will have access to smartphones. You will have access to people around you who are creative, who want to be part of such small projects. So going forward, I believe that if you want to be one of those chosen filmmakers, it's important that you start with whatever is available. It is to create content. I know I'm using that word once again, but it is important to create content, small and cheap videos that will allow you to practice your craft of filmmaking, and that's how you will build on it. And that will allow investors, filmmakers, and even the audience to make a note of you, to discover you and your art and your passion and your stories. If you think that the answer lies in going through the traditional methods of making film to be part of the industry where so many people are surrounded and there are so many people working on so many projects, then more power to you. But the way I see it, it's important that the filmmaking is becoming smaller and smaller, and it's the world that is changing, that is dynamic, that is flexible. With the introduction and penetration of artificial intelligence in our creative processes, it is changing a lot, and I think it's more important that we adapt to this new situation and tell stories in new formats. That's the approach which I find most sensible as of now. What are your thoughts? How are you planning to navigate your career as a filmmaker? And if you are an aspiring filmmaker, I hope this discussion added some value in your decision making. I hope that it enlightened you in some way. I'm very interested to know your thoughts, so please comment below and let me know your opinions, negative and positive. If you have watched this video so far, I appreciate it. Please like and share and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.